Hi everyone, hope you can hear me. So I'm going to uh, understand how centralized exchange works, and I have a template here of routes. So I'm going to understand how uh, how to implement these routes and maybe write these routes also. Wait a minute. First, let me. Yep. And let me see how it looks from this side. This is fine, I guess. Okay, so here we go. Until now, what have I done? This is fine, I guess. Okay, so here we go. Until now. So I have wrote this schema which has a users table, a stocks table, an orders table, and a fills table, right? And I have given the appropriate relation to each other, and in the index.js I have just wrote the sign up route using Zod, and yeah, and I'm just storing the username and password in the database, and initializing the balances table with zero balance, right? Now it's time to write the login route. So I've started doing it. Now I'm going to do a lot of dumb stuff. I haven't practiced writing this in a lot of time, so maybe I'll just need to Google or uh, just ask to Claude how things work. So just for more clarity, right? So this is not a sprint kind of video where I'm just doing everything by myself. Here I'm just trying to understand and learning about stuff. So even I have an iota of doubt how things work, I'm just going to ask about it. Okay, so what I'm doing here is find user by username. What if I didn't find a user? I have to if not user, then I can just say the same thing. User doesn't exist, right? or maybe it would be better to say hasn't signed yet. The user hasn't signed up yet, but let's go with it now. For now, here I compare the password, and there is a doubt whether this is the right way to compare two passwords. So I'm taking the password which comes from the body, and then I'm comparing it to the password that I find in my database, right? So is that how it should work? I'm not sure. Like, I'm taking guess it should work, but I just want to be sure about it. So I'll go to Claude, right? What is up with it? Let's close this. Let's go here. What? Why? Okay. So I guess I have already asked that question, have I? Okay, I'll begin from start. How to use bcrypt compare. Right. I'm pretty sure it's gonna say the same thing as I did, but I just want to be sure. And maybe know certain things that I may not know. Yeah, I guess that's it. Right. So this is my plain text password, which is my data.password, which I'm getting from the body. And this is the hash password which is stored in the database. Right. Right. So that's it. Yeah. So this was correct. So if check is true, password is matched. If check is false, the password is wrong. So if not check, rest or wrong password, right? All right. Now if the username, we have found the username and the password is also correct, then what we have to do, then we have to assign the person a token, right? So what exactly I have to do that? So firstly we'll install JWT here, right? npm I JSON web token, right? Then I'll import JWT here, JSON web token. Is this correct? Is this correct? From if I write something else, does it give an error? It doesn't, so I'm not sure. How to import JWT yeah, so that was correct. Now what we will do is Actually, we'll take this here. Return token, so const token equal to jwt dot sign. Right, we will sign a token with the data. What would be the data here? So you don't have to give password here. You should just give the user ID and username. So let's say, should I, it has a particular name, we call it, I don't know what we call it. But let's just say data, const data equals id user dot id and username user dot username, right? Data and secret. That's all I have to give. Secret, I have to define the secret here in the .env file. Secret equal to something 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 something. This is enough of a secret. Alright, and then I'll, how do I export it? How do I import it? Import secret from dot slash in. Is it how that works? Let me confirm. How do I import secret from .env? process.env.secret.
अरे हाँ भाई,
हाँ,
कैमरा
लाइव स्ट्रीम चल रहा है भाई YouTube पे।
हाय गाइस।
देखिए भाई, सौरभ भाई बड़े दिनों बाद आए हैं हमारे यहाँ।
कहाँ हम दिखे नहीं रे?
तुम अभी देखोगे ना, थोड़ा लेटेंसी है।
ओके
वो इसमें देखोगे।
ओके, सो अंडरस्टैंडिंग सेंट्रलाइज्ड एक्सचेंज।
यस,
नाइस मैन। कितने लोग हैं अभी?
कोई नहीं होगा भाई, मैंने शेयर ही नहीं किया किसी को। मैं बस इसलिए कर रहा हूँ ताकि मुझे ऐसा फील आता है कि कुछ करना है, तो अपने आप दिमाग उसमें हुक्ड हो जाता है, नहीं तो मोटिवेशन डिस्ट्रैक्शन बहुत हो जाता है।
सही है भाई, सही है, करो।
भाई अभी लैपटॉप इतना हैंग क्यों हो गया तुम्हारे हाथ?
मैकबुक लोडिंग प्रो होगा, इससे पता क्या होगा? सही है, अच्छा जा रहा है। मतलब वो एक हैबिट बन जाएगा।
वही, ये एक हैबिट है
उसके बाद तो
ये हैबिट बना लो।
कोडेक्स,
हाँ वही हैबिट ही बना रहा भाई। ये एक हैबिट है। प्रोसेस डॉट env डॉट, इतना कुछ क्यों आ रहा है जो है भी नहीं। ठीक है, that's how I access, right? hmm let's see if it works. कंसोल लॉक कर देते हैं टोकन को। all right, we have found got the token, and then what we'll do is just return res.json uh, token, right? That's all we want, or do we want anything else? Message login successful, and token. Do I need to do anything else here? Do I need to pass anything else other than token? Right, when a person signs in, what must happen? The guy must navigate to a different page, right? That will do in front end. But what the backend has to do, so data goes in the database, it checks if the credentials are valid, and then it assigns a token, and then we basically store it in local storage. That will do in front end, right? So I guess the login route is complete. So I test it. Let us test it. Okay, actually I can also give just user id, user.id. Why not? Why can't I? id. All right, let's test it with postman. So we are on the sign up route. We'll go on the sign in. Is it post route? Yes, it is a post route. It's login, right? Login endpoint. uh, let's say I go to archav, username archav, and I want to log in, and I'm passing this stuff, right? What happens? Error. It gives an error. So have I started the server? I guess I have not. So let me start the server. Let's start it. There's some error. Okay, I cannot name it data, of course. Let's call it something else. Let's call it JWT data, right? Now we'll run again. Yeah, I could just have given JWT data here instead. JWT data, right? Let's try to log in again. Let's see what error do we get. Login successful. We have a token here. Okay, let's log in with Arpit. Okay, we are logged in. Let's Krishna. Okay, what if I log in again with the same name? Do I get a different token or what happens? Yeah, I must get a different token. Login successful. Alright, so it's working fine, right? Alright, now maybe I'll have to write a middleware, which is not written here in the comments. Let's see what's written. We'll define the middleware later, because I can write it, but I'm not very fluent in writing middlewares, right? So what's happening here? So in body we will have, on the slash order route, user ID, we'll have side, we'll have type, we'll have symbol and price and quantity. Okay, so I have to first like define a Zod type for this, right? Let's do it. Order schema, could I say it? So I'll say export const order schema equals z dot object. Now what all do we have here? Let me just copy paste it. Index.js, and then we'll modify it. Alright, so user ID would be an integer, z dot number. Alright, then we have side, so I'd have to define an enum. How do I define enums in Zod? Enums in Zod. So basically z dot enum, right? A lot of ways to do this. So I'll just go with that, right? So I'll say it's like z dot enum is the syntax correct, and array here I have to give comma, right? I guess that should work. It shouldn't matter whether I have double quotes or single quotes, right? Here also we'll do the same thing, z dot enum. Alright, what is the symbol? Symbol is like, let me see in my schema prisma, what do we have symbol as? Do I even have a symbol? Ooh, wait, do I not have a symbol here? Let me check in the Notion doc. Schema design. in the stocks we have symbols, right? And nowhere else. In the stocks we have symbols. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. We have, so symbol is string, right? Z dot string. Then we have the price. Price was float, I guess. The price was float. Yeah. So how do I? I'm a little confused, lost. Hmm. Let's read this. Z dot number, right? Does does Z dot number involve floats too? Okay, it works fine. Then we have quantity. Quantity would be an integer. All right. We have defined the Zord schema for this. Yep. Okay, is this optionality needed? Like, how to how to define optional field in Zord? Okay, which of these should I use? Bro, optional. Should I move into the classroom? Let's keep it here. Fine, we have the schema here. Then I'll import it. put the order schema here. Order schema. बहुत तेज आवाज आ रहा है भाई. Let's keep doing what we are doing. Hmm. So here I'll say const data success equals to order schema dot save parse rec rec dot body. Battery low. No charging point around here. Let's wait for a while, then we'll move somewhere else. Hmm. If not success, what kind of stupid shit am I doing, right? Hmm. Return res dot status 400 dot json. Bro, not success. Say invalid data. Hmm. Validate input plus stock exists. So I guess we are doing this now. We'll put this here. So we validate the input. Now stock exists. Now what does it mean? Stock exists. Where are the stocks? So we are placing an order with user ID with you're telling शिखर वो दरवाज़ा लगा देना यार. मेरे वो लाइक मैं लाइव स्ट्रीम कर रहा हूँ, आवाज़ आ रही है. नहीं मतलब अरे मेरे को आवाज़ आ रही है ना, लाइव स्ट्रीम में आवाज़ आ रही है. ठीक है फिर कोई नहीं, मैं दूसरी जगह चला जाता हूँ. Fine. We'll okay, let's move somewhere else. Where can I move? Order schema. Whew. Hmm. So we either buy or sell, or we put a limit order or a market order. Yeah, and we give a symbol which describes the stock that we are buying, right? Hmm. So, and price and quantity. So if we want to see whether this symbol exists or not. Hmm. So const stock exists. Stock exists equals await async here prisma dot stocks dot find find unique or find first, whichever, where is it, like capital, have I forgotten it, like okay, it's small, where sign is data dot symbol, yeah, symbol. Is that correct? So we will get a symbol here and we'll check if it exists in the stocks table. Yeah, if not stock exists, we'll say the stock doesn't exist. The stock doesn't exist. All right, we are making some progress here. Let's keep doing it. Check plus log balance. INR for buy, stock for sale. INR for buy, stock for sale. What does this mean? So balance is this. This is the balance that we have. And what does this line mean? INR for buy and stock for sale. Sell. Okay, so INR means our current like balance that we actually have in our currency, and then we have, I don't understand this part. So what does balances of, isn't it just my portfolio that my I as a user have this much money in INR, this much in excess, but excess means a stock, right? So what does logged here mean? In INR, I can say that logged means that I have buried that money on our stock, so that is logged. I cannot use it somewhere else. But on a stock, but but What does logged mean here? I don't understand. I buy a stock. I'm not using a stock to buy other stocks, right? So let's see in the Notion doc. Try to understand from here. There. So we have this, yeah, order book. Yeah, that's what I was saying. So in INR, there's total and logged, but in Axis there's no logged, right? It's just how much stock that you have. In order book bids, so that doesn't make sense to me yet. So I'll just remove this logged from here. Now what does the comment say? चेक प्लस लॉग बैलेंस. तो चेक बैलेंस की बैलेंस है हमारे पास की नहीं, राइट? और अगर है तो उसको उसमें से माइनस करके लॉग्ड में डाल दो, या फिर माइनस नहीं करना है, जस्ट लॉग में डाल दो. राइट, इफ आई वांट टू बाय something, right, if I want to buy something, the my rupees would be, logged. And if I'm selling a stock, I have to check whether I have that much stock that I'm trying to sell, and I have to log that stock also. That if I'm selling it here, I cannot sell it somewhere else. Or can I? I should be able to list uh, at different places at the same time. If whether wherever the other person wants to buy, they can buy, right? This is a question, important question, that when we are listing our stock to sell, then should the stock be logged at that time? I should be able to sell it somewhere else too. But what happens if I list it at two places and at one place it is sold, let's say? Then what happens to this listing? What happens to this first listing? Mm, I don't really know. Okay, let's first start doing it for the INR, for buy, right? So let's say if a person is trying to buy, yeah, I'll just say stock. Check plus log balance. So we must have the price for it. So we will say balances dot user ID. Right, we actually not that, just user ID. What have I put in dot? Yeah, that only. So we'll go to this object, right? and then we'll check. So that itself is an object, right? User ID, yeah. It's gonna be little complicated. Nested objects. Dot .inr dot available. Dot .inr dot available. If this is less than the price that we are given, right? uh, which would be data dot price. Then we'll say return plus dot json, you don't have enough money. Message